What's going on, my trainer club? Today I'm going to help you get ready, prepped, have everything in your best interest to max out on Community Day in Pokemon Go with Chimchar. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, are you hyped about Chimchar? We could really use some Chimchar hype in Chicago right now. It is absolutely freezing, but we are going to get you ready, prepped to go. Everything you need to know to max out on the Chimchar Community Day coming this Saturday, November 16th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in your time zone. So wherever you are, drop your stuff, get ready to go. We are going to help you max out on one of the coolest bonuses, I think, because it can give you a lot of Stardust as well, which is going to be the 1/4 egg distance hatching, meaning you're going to be hatching eggs for 25% of what you normally would. So it's going to be definitely lucrative, definitely something that you want to do and something you don't want to miss out on. And Chimchar's super cute. And so we're gonna get into that right now. So let's get into my top tips, starting with number 1. So my tip number 1 is gonna be the start of the pre. We need to start prepping our bags, both our Pokemon storage as well as our item storage bags, to get ready for the Chimchar, right? So depending on how many you want, how many you're gonna keep, how hard you're gonna go, you're going to want to go ahead and decide now. So what I always suggest is probably 200 to 300 Ultra Balls, maybe 100 to 200 Great Balls, and then any of the red balls that are left over. If you have to dump anything, I don't usually recommend dumping the red balls, but leading up to Community Days, maybe a good idea, because most of the time we're going to be hand catching, so we're not going to need the plentiful of red balls. And as we go throughout the Community Day, we'll be spinning stops a lot, probably with our auto catcher, which I would suggest you guys use. Just put on auto catch only and not for the Pokemon, just for the spin stops. And then we're going to be starting to stack the red balls up in that favor. So by the end of Community Day, usually what my bag looks like is a ton more red balls and a lot less of the Ultra Balls and Great Balls, if not none, right? So that's what I'm going to suggest doing. And then as far as the Pineapple berries, we're going to definitely check out the best of the best. But I always suggest, especially during these starter days, to get as much candy as you possibly can, because usually the starters are not like the most common Pokemon. So why not set yourself up for success right now? Have as much candy as you possibly can and go through a lot of the Pineapple berries, which in my opinion, I would say 100 is probably a pretty safe bet, but if you really want more candy, 200 would be a really good benchmark. Items also include the premium items. Are you going to be using star pieces? Are you going to be using lucky eggs? Or in this case, are you going to be using incubators? Incubators are going to be the number 1 thing that you want to go. So right now, and probably before this, if you guys listen to my prep video, you should be stacking up on 2 different things. Number 1 is going to be on the 10-kilometer eggs, trying to get as many as possible, so that when the event comes, I would suggest not having any eggs on prior to the event. So going up to the event, like maybe if you hatch an egg, let's say on Friday night, you don't plan to play on Saturday, don't put another incubator on, because if you do so, and let's say you have 9 10-kilometer eggs, what's gonna happen is that egg is going to walk the entire 10-kilometer distance. You might as well wait until we get there, and then you can put it on and it's gonna hatch for 2.5, or with a super incubator, 1.67 kilometers for a 10-kilometer egg, which is gonna be huge. And the second thing that you must be stacking up on, if you haven't already done so, you need to learn how to stack up on the Adventure Sync bonuses in the background and turn the Adventure Sync off. If you need my full video, I suggest going up here. You need to go in and turn the Adventure Sync off. Once you turn the Adventure Sync off, it's going to give you the ability to stack Adventure Sync in the background without, as soon as you open your game, pushing it directly through. Why is this important? Because this is what your beginning of your Community Day is going to look like. You go in with all your eggs, you start incubating them all, you hatch them all in a very short amount of distance, and obviously after that first kilometer, if you're hatching all 9 of your eggs, you're going to want to have a star piece on. Since you turned off the Adventure Sync, and I would suggest at least going for a run or a jog or shaking your phone or whatever you need to do to stack up some of that Adventure Sync mileage, right? I would prefer to have 2.5 kilometers stacked up in your game. So after you hatch that first batch, then you basically have free eggs. What I would suggest doing is going in to your friends list, opening up all these gifts, and then you're gonna get 9 7-kilometer eggs, which is a decent amount of Stardust, and then you're gonna turn your Adventure Sync on. It's gonna flush through all those 2.5 kilometers, and you're gonna immediately hatch the second batch of eggs, which is gonna be on that same star piece, and then you'll be able to go ahead and spin stops or open gifts, whichever one you prefer for your 3rd round, and then you'll be able to get this for that. So you could here, if you do this appropriately, as I'm telling you, you would hatch 9 eggs, then the immediate flush would hatch 9 more eggs, and then afterwards, whatever eggs you get there, you can put on again and keep walking, and you could potentially hatch more than 18 eggs on one 30-minute star piece to maximize, which is absolutely huge. If you guys are kind of unsure about like, okay, I don't really quite get it, I'm gonna be doing it for the Chimchar Day. I will have it lined up in the beginning of the video, so you guys definitely want to check out my Chimchar Day vlog because I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it, okay? If you're gonna be using premium items the entire time, you're gonna need to have 6 of each because none of them are extended this time. Star pieces, I always suggest doing your incenses, especially me, I have some stacked up, so I might as well push those guys through right now during the Shiny Community Days. Definitely going to want to foreshadow into the future. December is gonna be 2 days, so we're potentially gonna need 12. So at least have 12 for then because you're gonna have potentially a ton of different shinies from your incenses, so that's going to be a very valuable. You also want to save probably 12 star pieces for that as well. And as far as lucky eggs go, what I suggest doing is not doing it the entire time. I always suggest stacking friendship bonuses. So if you have people that you're close to that maybe you need to open a gift or two that you have not been active with, make sure to do that, which is going to bring me to my tip number 2, which is going to be make sure to have your alarm set up. So you want to have alarms set for 11:30, 12, 12:30, 1, 1:30, 2, which is going to signify the end of the event, and then you're going to go ahead and start trading, right? So that's going to be the best thing. Make sure to, as you're rolling up to the event, do not complete anything in your designated area of catching Pokemon or spinning stops and completing the research tasks from the stops, because you want to have those change over to the Pineapple Berries, to the Ultra Balls, and the Great Balls as soon as that happens. And all the Pokemon that are around, if you catch those, they could turn into Chimchar right as it hits 11, so you definitely don't want to catch Pokemon beforehand. And also, what I suggest doing, you can either do it on Friday night or on Saturday morning. I would prefer that you guys put a Pokemon in a gym with some friends, you stack it up, so that during community days, you have a gym that you can remote berry feed all of your berries that you're going to be stacking up from spinning all of these stops. I am not a big fan of throwing away berries because a berry equals Stardust. If you're on a star piece, it equals 30 Stardust. If you have a couple hundred per day during this 3-hour window that you can dump to relieve your bag if it's getting full, great thing to do. And the way you do it is going to a remote area, a little bit out of the common places that people are going to play for community days, because most people are going to be super busy during this time. So you'll have the opportunity to hold a gym for that 3 hours and throw your berries in that gym to be able to max out on some extra Stardust that can help add up over the lifespan of your game, which is definitely what we do here. Help you guys max out over the long run. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Which is going to bring me to my tip number 3. Tip number 3 is going to deal with Infernape and Monferno, PvP great stats, and searching your bag for the search string shortcuts to help you clear out if you need to. Alright guys, so the wind was getting a little muggy, so I figured I would just pull this graphic up so we could make this a little bit more clear for you during this process. So for this one right here, on the left, we are going to have the Infernape stats for PvP Great League. 100% IV is going to be sitting at the top, level 21, 0, 13, 15, which is going to put the Infernape at 14.99. If you want to go ahead and check out any of these other stats on the left, you can go ahead and do so. Most of them have about 0 attacks, some have 1, a couple of them have 2. And then on the right, we are going to look at the Monferno stats, and they're going to be a little bit different because Monferno can get powered up quite a bit. It's actually going to be at a max level 40. At the 7, 15, 14 for the stats for the 100% IV for the Monferno if you're going to use it. And then if you were to use the second place, 8, 15, 15, which is going to max it out at 1500. And then if also you want to pause here, you can go ahead and do so. So if it is going to be sunny weather where you are during this day, the Monferno would be great because you can catch it all the way up to level 35, which would mean then you don't have to power it up that much if you plan to use Monferno in the Great League. So here we go. We're going to do Chimchar and signed, exclamation point 3-star, and signed, exclamation point 4-star, which means we're going to search our bag for Chimchar, minusing out all 3 stars and 4 stars, and CP with the minus sign, whatever value you want. I would suggest right around 400 and below. That would mean your bag is going to be consisting of all 0, 1, and 2 stars below the CP of 400. I would say that would be the easiest way if you don't care about PvP, you're just looking for high IVs, high CPs. That's going to show exactly what you need. And what I would suggest doing is either copying it on an Android and pasting it in, or on an iPhone, what you can do is create the search shortcut where you go into settings, you go into keyboards, you're going to go into text replacement, then you're going to copy this code that I just gave you. I'm going to pin it in the comments below, and you're going to paste this in there, give it a shortcut name. Then when you type it in, it'll just be like Chim or something like that, C-H-I-M, you click the space bar and it's gonna auto-populate that in there for you to search your bag easily. Which is gonna bring us to tip number 4, which is going to be get out there and play hard. Make sure to use the quick catch trick. I would prefer that you're using my updated one. I just put the video out not too long ago. If you wanna check it out up here, go ahead and do so. You wanna catch as many of these guys as you possibly can. You may even want that when your timers go off for special items like your star pieces to always go back in and try to program, hey, I need to go in there and hatch some more eggs. Make sure that all my eggs are on, my incubators are set up, and they're ready to go. The other couple things I'm gonna give you are going to be the 100% IVs for the task level in case you are going to be able to get research tasks with the Chimchar like we did for the trap inch, which I think is a great idea. I hope we do. 410 is gonna be level 15, 100% IV. And then 547 for the egg hatch level at level 20. If it is non-weather boosted, 820 is gonna be the absolute highest you can get at level 30. And then if it is weather boosted, which is going to be in sunny weather, 889 is gonna be the highest value that you can get at level 35, which is gonna bring me to my tip number 5. That's gonna be to max out afterwards. You wanna trade as many as you possibly can. You wanna try to get your luckies. You wanna be stacking up on all the high IVs. And what I suggest doing is doing a decent amount of evolutions to get the exclusive moveset on this Pokemon for shinies and for non-shinies. Number 1 for shinies because it's gonna be rare and it's gonna have the move. But the non-shinies are going to be great for people that may not play, right? And they come back and you're like, hey man, like Infernape, pretty good with Blast Burn. You might wanna have it, or for PvP players or whatever like that. I'm gonna go ahead and give you one. It's gonna be a lot cheaper because number 1, it's not a special trade in regards to it being a shiny or a legendary, meaning the dust cost is gonna go way, way down. So that's what I always like to do. I have a bunch of Salamancers with Outrage that aren't shiny because the shiny is just the cool exclusive variant. And I know it's very desirable, but the move is really powerful as well. So you're able to give it to people without having to pay a premium on the shiny variant. And max out, stay warm if it's cold like it is here, and check out my vlog to make sure you guys know and see how I play, so that if you don't know what's going on, especially with the hatching eggs on command that I talked about with the adventure sync toggling, that's definitely something you're gonna wanna do. So thank you guys for tuning in, all my likers, commenters, subscribers, and Patreon members. Make sure to get out there, max out on those shiny Chimchars, get as much candy as you possibly can, stack up on the Stardust, and have fun. Hatch all those eggs. Hopefully you guys are gonna hatch some shinies. So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna see you out on that next video. Peace! I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.